Welcome to Social Media Superchargers with Lynn O'Connell and Alyssa Thorne. And we have a wonderful guest with us today. We have Elizabeth Maness. And she's going to be talking about, we're actually all going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about content creation, what it means to be a social media manager, what entails in being a social manager. And we're also going to talk a little bit about when there's an emergency, a crisis, what to do with your social media. Meaning, just because there's been, I don't know, it could be bombing someplace, it could be, there's any sort of critical thing that's on the news, do you do your social media or not? And that's been an issue that at least all three of us have dealt with our clients. So we are going to talk a little bit about that. So welcome, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to have you with us.
I'm really happy to be here, Carly, and I appreciate you inviting me. I love that we're going to talk about the thing that happened and that we got so much interest and feedback when there was this situation with the Boston bombing.
I know, I can't believe how much you and I, we got, inslot with inboxes about that. So let's just start with that. So how do you tell your clients when there is a crisis on the news? What do they do when that happens? You hear two opinions. If I post, is that going to make me seem cold and uncaring? Or should I continue doing what I normally do? Should I continue to post and at the same time put something out that says blessings, thinking about everybody? So what are your thoughts on that?
You just have to think about what your business is actually about, and if you're going to say something that could seem cold, callous, or worse, like you're making fun or light of the situation, if you've got, and most of us have, automated social media going out. So you want something going on Twitter or something that you've scheduled to post on Facebook seem as if it's talking about that current event. So a lot of times I think it's best to turn off all automated social media so that nothing can be misinterpreted. That's what I saw happening to several companies, and then to make sure you don't do anything in very poor taste. I saw examples of that. Did you?
Oh, I saw a lot of it. I know, Lynn, you can speak on that as well.
Yeah, there were some bizarre examples of people. I guess they were trying to newsjack and using the hashtags, and some of them were like promoting their foods and strange things. Some were automated, but some were using the hashtag, so they were intentional. And that's just, it's foolish when you're dealing with something that heated emotionally. It's not the time to newsjack.
I think the biggest thing is just letting our clients know that whatever's going on in the news, all we can continue to do, whether it be a business or an individual, is continue to be ourselves, continue to be whatever our model is, whatever our brand is. We want to just stay true to that, and then also think about just making sure you do put out a tweet or a post that says, thanking everybody involved, blessings for the world, whatever style of writing it is for you or your company. You have to put something out that shows that you do care. At the same time, like anything in life, tomorrow we still need to get up. I do care about other people. I do worry about other people, and at the same time, I still have to get up next morning, and I still have to actually go to work. So we still need to continue to do what we're doing. Just do it in a manner that we're not doing anything that's offensive. I mean, I think that's the simplest thing on that.
Yeah, one thing I would add on that as well is that one of the issues that came up around the Boston bombing that I found really interesting was people from other countries were saying, well, wait a minute, you don't stop posting when something, there's some huge tsunami here or whatever. So for people who are dealing with international audiences, that's something to think about as well, is to also send out a message of support when there are things outside the U.S. I think we have a tendency, those of us who are Americans, to be very U.S.-centric. And that's, fine if your audience is all U.S., but for a lot of us, it's not.
And that's actually a really good point. Thank you, Lynn, for bringing that up. So what I'd like to go from here is, Elizabeth, can you share with everybody a little bit, like, what you do with your company and your partner?
I'm solo at now, but I manage social media. I help people with their branding. I help people I will do SEO audits, and I will do one-on-one coaching sessions with people to help them with either their SEO or their social media presence. Just help them get it all branded correctly and make sure that they've got everything linked together so that it all looks the same. So no matter where someone shows up on social media, if they're connected with you somewhere else, then they'll say, oh yeah, I know them from Facebook, so yeah, I think I'll follow them on Twitter too. Just helping them get it all connected. And I also train people how to use individual platforms. This afternoon, I spent a good little time with someone teaching them how to use Pinterest. Those are the things that I do. I will be developing a module class for, people who are beginning bloggers, from starting their WordPress site to how to use social media correctly. Get so many questions about that in particular, and that's pretty much what my blog is about. I give people, tips and try to help them if they're managing their social media themselves, if they want to. There are people who don't want to do it, and companies, of course, they usually hire out, but I like to help either one.
So adding to that, Lynn also does that, and I do a little bit, not as much as you guys do in that area because I do a lot of other things. It would be really great for other people to understand is, what does a social media manager do? What does that entail? When you have a client that says, hey, I'd like you to handle my social media for me, what does that look like?
If you want me to answer, I'll answer, and then I guess, Lynn, you take over and tell how you do it.
Okay.
It depends on how much management they want, whether it's one platform, two platforms, their website as well. But I will help them plan strategically when to post their blog post, where to publish links to them, what to put on their Facebook, and when to put it, and what to tweet, and when to tweet it, and what kind of hashtags to use, as well as on Google Plus and LinkedIn. And I, take care of all of that for them, and we sit together and, this is what I do to get their voice and understand how to manage it. I actually interview, and I will talk closely on the phone. That, to me, is just the best way to know, what they're like, what they like, so that it doesn't sound like someone else doing it. And I also set it up where they can go back and look and say, well, I would never say that, or I wouldn't do that, or my company doesn't like this or that, and, just so that nothing goes live that they wouldn't want out there.
And Lynn, how does it look for you when you work with clients on multiple platforms? And then I'm going to add one fun thing that I do that goes back to what Elizabeth says about talking to them and everything. So Lynn, what is it for you?
Okay, what we typically do, we work a lot with nonprofits and larger organizations, although we do also work with a few small businesses. But what that creates a sort of additional level of challenge, because you're representing the voice of an organization and no one person can approve everything. So typically what we do is work on a strategy, and we'll do an intake session of some kind, whether it's in person or by phone, and we'll ask them to give us links to everything. We'll read everything about the background of their organization. We're pretty good at picking up the voice and picking up the topics. And then we tend to use Hootsuite because we have a few clients that want to review things in advance. Most of them trust it to us to manage. And then we have other clients who we lay out the strategy. We do the content editorial calendar, and what Elizabeth was talking about, the branding, the overall cohesion. A lot of the problem that we see with groups is that they don't have that master plan of what am I doing and why am I on social media. So that's a lot of what we set out to fix and to keep consistent moving forward. But then we often train people within their organization to manage it on a day-by-day basis, which we then do weekly oversight of. So that would be, I think, the summary of that.
So what I would like to add to that, one thing that I have found that's been really valuable in training the people that I work with to handle social media for my clients is I will actually have the people that actually hire us actually write out phrases or things that they would use in their own voice. So like I have certain language. I'll say Twitter love or thank you for your empire love. So I actually, in a draft format or in a Word document, I'll write all the phrases that I use, and then I'll tell them, these are the phrases you use for thank yous. These are the phrases you use for happy birthdays, or these are the images for happy birthdays. So basically, I create the content that I do want them to use, and I give them specific instructions as to where and when to use those types of phrases. So when people see the stuff that's out there, they know it's my voice. They know it's my terminology or my language. And that's been really helpful. And what I'd like to let everyone know about that, too, is you have to train, whoever, whether it be Lynn, Elizabeth, or me, or if we're outsourcing it to another team to actually handle the social media, we need to train our people. You need to give them the tools and the resources to know exactly what it is you need from them. There's nothing worse than handing something over to someone and not giving them the tools, and then they don't do it to your satisfaction, and nobody wins. So just make sure that people really have what they need. They need to know the language. They need to know, there may be certain people, like for example for me, there's a list they can't touch. If those people contact me, it's a me list. So they know, like, I'll have a list of like 10 or 15 people that are in my inner circle that I directly respond to. So there's different ways to handle that, and I just think that's a really great thing to do as well.
Yeah, I think it's also important to be very clear about what the objectives are, why they're on social media, what they're looking to accomplish. You know, some people are on social media for brand building. Others are there to reach prospects. Others are there to talk to their clients or to their members in many of our clients' cases. And it's really important to establish what the audience is, establish what the objectives are, and then establish who's going to do what and how it's going to be measured. We're really big on measurement and accountability. And, you know, I come out of a direct marketing background, and to me, you know, there's no point in doing something if there isn't some benefit to it. That doesn't mean a sale today, but it does mean that you're working towards a bigger goal and that you're seeing progress towards that goal.
And Elizabeth, adding to that, I'd love people to know what would be the benefits to actually hiring a team to help you. A lot of people don't understand, like, oh, I can do it all myself. I can handle my Twitter. I can handle my Google. I can handle my LinkedIn. So what would be some of the benefits that we can share with people in hiring somebody? What would be the benefits for them?
Well, for one, they will get someone who, of course, if they get someone to do it, they need a professional. They don't need someone who's going to do some of the things that I saw during the bombing that were really in poor taste. And I honestly believe that no CEO of a company thought that would be a good idea. I think that their social media manager just did that on their own. Make sure that you handle a professional. You know, that you get a professional handling your account, and you're going to know. Most of us know great strategy. I've been doing it for 10 years. My background is only with marketing on social media, so I don't have a background where I've done television or radio or anything. This is my specialty. You will get, and most people that do it, I know Lynn, she has a different background, but she still knows how to use social media. There's a learning curve, so you don't have to get that learning curve. You're going to have more time to concentrate on your sales, your customers, and depending on what your objective is, you've got somebody who can set out a strategy for all the social media platforms. So that's what I think the advantages of hiring someone instead of being trained or just going out gung-ho on your own and doing it. But there is that scary thing of handling or handing your social media, your reputation over to another person. Sure. And those people that are just interested in talking to me, I get them to look at my social media and the social media people I handle and say, look at what we're doing with this account and that account and just see if it's, what you would want done with yours. And most of the time, that's just an easy sell because they like what they see. That I want to give a warning. If someone's going to handle it, I would ask for references, and I would look at their social media, make sure that what they're doing is something that you would approve of, that you would want on your page.
So I'm going to ask you, Lynn, in a second, but I want to address what Elizabeth said. It's so crucial. Look at their social media. And Lynn and I tell our members all the time and over again how critically important it is what we write. Whatever you write is out there literally for life. Whether you believe it or not, things go viral really quickly. So if you're going to write something, before you hit the button that says publish or post, make sure it's something that you're really happy with because everybody's going to see it. And so I love that you said that, Elizabeth, is most people don't think, well, it's my wall. I can write whatever I want on my wall. No one's going to see it. My clients aren't going to see it. However, most clients, they don't want to just see your professional page. They want to see your personal page. Because if I'm handing my social media over to someone, it's my brand. And if my person that I'm handing social media over to, and I go on their page and there's half-naked women and drinks of them drunk with beer and just like all sorts of things that, debates, and I'm not going to want to hand my social media over to that person. And so a lot of people don't think about that. They just think that their wall is sacred and they can do whatever the heck they want with their wall and it's not going to affect them at all business-wise. And what I have found time and time again, I've known so many people that haven't gotten hired because of their walls. And also, I have actually had clients that came to me and I looked at their walls and I said, oh my God, you need to clean this up, you need to clean this up, you need to delete these pictures. What do you want to be known as? What is your brand? Do you want people to see that you're just pictures of you with beers and women or, men just all with gorgeous women? What is it that you want people to see of you? What do you want people to know of you? What is your brand? So Lynn, I'd like you to then continue with what Elizabeth said in terms of continuing on that topic.
Which topic was that?
Well, she was sharing her tips on what is social media management, and so I wanted to go back to you addressed a little bit about you do nonprofits, but I want to go back to what I was talking with her about is what are some of the benefits. A lot of people don't understand what are the benefits of hiring somebody.
Yeah, I think there are huge benefits because I'll give you an example without any names. Just the other day, my partner spoke to a prospect, and the guy started out by saying he's a big believer in content marketing, but he doesn't believe in social media. And so Rich, hands it off to us to look into the site and whatnot before he does his follow-up call. And we're looking through it, and basically they set up a bunch of social media sites, 2009, one in 2010, and never did anything. And I'm not kidding, never did anything, one or two posts. And worst of all, when you went to LinkedIn and searched on their company name, they had no company profile, but what came up was an employee, a former employee who had gone to work for a competitor. So because they didn't have their own page, what you're getting is their competitor. And the person wasn't doing anything wrong. He listed them as a former employee. But those are the kind of things that a social media professional knows to look at. And we found all of those things out in probably less than 35 minutes that, this company has been struggling with for years. And then the second piece of that is, content marketing is all the rage. I'm a big believer in content marketing. I started as a copywriter, and I think information and the power of infographics it's all fabulous. But if you don't use social media, how are you going to share that content marketing? No one's going to see it unless you're planning to go door to door passing it out. So all of these things link together. And I think that's where a professional can really help you in terms of, Elizabeth talked about this, the importance of cohesion across your platforms. And no, cohesion does not mean posting the same thing on every platform at the exact same time. It's almost the opposite. You want each stream to have content that's custom to it. And there's a variety of ways to manage that, but I think that the problem that a lot of groups make is they either make a stab at it, it doesn't work, and I think that's the key. Social media is not magic. You don't just put it out there and it happens. And number two, just because you're a recent hire or someone on staff knows how to use Facebook does not mean that they know how to use Facebook pages, that they understand the rules on Facebook pages or on Twitter or on Google+, or that they understand how fast that stuff changes. Just today, as we're taping this, Facebook dropped the rule where they used to say that you couldn't have more than 20% text in your cover photo. Okay, those of us who are on top of this, we know we can now go in and adjust our cover photos. You know, your intern may not ever know that, you know, because that's not something their friends are, you know, going to be talking about. So I think those are the kinds of benefits that you get, and that even, you know, what you end up paying to your outsourced consultant, you're getting far more value than you would from even 40 hours of a junior person's time.
Well, one thing you bring up, I think both of you have brought up in some way, is online social media management, not just that, and reputation, and also the tools. Someone that you're hiring they're going to have to know the latest, every change. They're going to know when Facebook changes the rule about the 20% covered text removal. We're going to know when they're changing the format for the header. So us being out there as the warriors, if you will, we're always going and researching and looking for the latest updates. And someone that it's not their everyday thing, they're not going to know these things. So I think those are some of the things that are really important. And on top of that is, I think we also have our clients' backs. We are there to make sure that their reputation, their online reputation and their brand stays intact. And so we're always looking, like you said, you saw them that on our LinkedIn profile, a competitor was coming up. So we're actually looking for these things, and most people are not. So Elizabeth, what would be, like, let's list 3, I would say, golden nuggets, if you will, that would be helpful to people in looking for someone to do their social media management, and also some tips on why it's so important to actually have someone to help.
I would, number 1, ask for references. And number 2, what I said is look at their social media. Ask them, where's your Facebook page? And look and see what they have. Then you're going to know a lot about them. And let me see what else. Yeah, when you looked at that company, just see how well it appears that that company has grown on social media. So, you know, ask also when they started managing it and how long they've been managing. So you can see maybe a difference in what you know, their growth with it, and also ask them, you know, if that company. Now there are some companies that don't want you telling, so you do need people who don't mind you using them as a reference. But I would ask for references. I would look at the person's social media, and I might ask them if, you know, tell them what my strategy is, and then ask them or tell them what my goal is, and then have them tell me just a little basic outline what they think would be best way to handle it. There's things, that way you know something about the person, you know how they've handled someone's, and then you'll have a very good idea if they know what they're talking about or not. Because I wouldn't just ask one person, I would ask several. And then what else do you ask me, Lynn?
I also wanted to know name 3 benefits for actually having somebody actually handle your social media.
Well, that's easy. That they're going to know everything, just like we talked about, that is going on social media, all the changes, like the Facebook update. They're going to know how to format a strategy quickly. And like Lynn said, there in a minute I can find, you know, I go through people's social media. I have, you know, individuals and companies. And I can see this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong in 30 minutes, where it could take them days, years, or they never know that they're doing something wrong. So just from the get-go, you'll have somebody who knows how to do it instead of you having to learn how.
And Lynn, what would be for you, Lynn, 3 things that you'd say are exactly, like, for example, 3 things that are beneficial to having someone and 3 tips on getting a social media manager to handle your accounts?
All right, I'd say that the 3 benefits are that you spend your time managing your own business instead of worrying about your social media. You're good at doing what you do. Hire somebody who's good at doing social media. That's number 1. Your time is better spent on doing what you do. 2, someone who's expert is going to be able to do it more quickly, more effectively, and be able to take advantage of opportunities. And 3, to make sure that, and some of these may sound like little things, but for example, what size you make your Facebook photos makes a huge difference into whether people can see them or not in their various news feeds, and I won't go into all the details on that. Although I would rather, Carly, if we could maybe take the last couple minutes. Elizabeth has such a brilliant strategy on how she uses photos and quotes. It might be interesting to take a few minutes to have her share some of those strategies with our viewers.
So why don't you go back to us, Elizabeth, and share that with us?
Well, one of the things that I do for myself, I manage social media, but I use a lot of quotes and pictures, and I got to pick my key and make my own little thing, and I'll put my company's name on it. During the crisis with the Boston bombing, we went and put our company name. It's would be linked to our page. Plus, when I upload it, it's linked to the page because I go and I tag it. But that 90,000, 100,000 people saw it. 50 or 60,000 people shared it. Those are the kind of things that a professional social media manager can do for your page.
Exactly.
That was not something that I even thought of when I did it, but it happened, and it was amazing to me how many people saw it and shared it. It was just something that I was feeling because as an American citizen, that was very personal to me. But it just said, our prayers and our thoughts are with you. It did, I wasn't trying to, I don't know, and just well wishes from my company. I wasn't trying to make a profit from the crisis, but, just let people know. And so it just resonated with other people. And even though my company is only about, working with social media or giving tips or managing social media, I share things that are inspiring and personal beyond my business. Some companies don't realize that you need to be human, and make sure, of course, that your picture actually fits. I do 403 pixel by 403. Now, since the timeline has changed, and now everybody can see it, I think we can use something a little bigger, and I've got to look at it and see, the limit. But those are the things that I do and the way that I share pictures. And I have a certain time of day. 8 o'clock is perfect. Eastern Standard Time. Everything that you want to hit Eastern Standard Time, because the majority of people that are online are actually online in that time period, even though social media is worldwide. Even if you have a worldwide audience, the majority of people are on during the peak times for Eastern Standard Time. So those are the, when people are probably getting up or sitting to their desk or getting off work, those are the times that I also post. So I don't know if that's what Lynn was talking about, but if you want to be more specific.
Yeah, the one thing I would add is what stands out to me about Elizabeth's work is, and this makes so much sense of you having had your image go viral, is the pick quotes that she does are very graphic. They're very they're inspirational, but often they're business inspirational. So there is a tie to business in them, and they're very well designed. And I think that, going back to what you want to look for in a social media manager, is it's increasingly a visual medium. You know, words are great, and as a copywriter, I love words, but if you want people to read it, to see it, it's got to look good. So look for someone, and Elizabeth is definitely an example of someone who does this brilliantly, is look for someone who has a very visual sense and who understands when to use visuals versus when to use blog posts versus when to use text updates. And I think that, you know, I just wanted to get that in there as an example of something that, like I said, has just really stood out to me from Elizabeth's content.
The one thing I want to add to that, I think that was really key in all that, is personable. And that's what I keep writing blog after blog about, in authenticity. People, even if your brand is XYZ, people want to know who you are, because you are your brands. So if you're not sharing some of your personality, you know, it could be that you're a runner. And as the image that Elizabeth did was beautiful, because not only had the blessings and that we're thinking about at the bottom, but it had runners on it. So it was a very impactful image. So I always tell everybody else, in client-wise, is I need a list of your passions and your hobbies, because I can't just be tweeting out just your business. If I'm just tweeting out about your business, people aren't getting to know you, and you are what they're buying. They want to know who you are. They want to know, because you're the person behind the brand, if you will. So when you said personable, that's really, really important. Share some of your hobbies, share some of your personality, share some of your passions, and us as content managers, you know, when we're doing other people's social media, we need to find out what that is. We need to find out what the other people's, what makes them smile, what makes them laugh, not just business, 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 business. And yes, you can do inspirational quotes that are more business-oriented than what some people would call the woo-woo, really pretty images, and people are like, you know, they won't put that on their business page because they think it's too woo-woo, if you will. And
Right.
I think there's a balance of the both, and I think you can put something that's very impactful and meaningful and still have it be business-oriented. So anyways, we are coming to the end of our time, and Elizabeth, I'm so thankful that you joined us. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your thoughts. And at the end of this, there will be slides with Elizabeth's information and the social media superchargers information and Lynn and I's information. And we really look forward to all your feedback. We love feedback, so share your feedback with us. If there's anything you'd love to know about, please let us know. And you can visit our links. You're more than happy to join our group and learn some more valuable tools. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you. So thank you so much, Lynn, for also being here with us.
Oh, and thank you, Elizabeth. We're so happy you joined us.
So signing off from the Social Media Superchargers with Lynn O'Connell and Alyssa Thorne, and thank you so much, Elizabeth, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, guys.